long does COBRA last? COBRA is the continuation of your group health insurance plan when you leave the plan, either voluntarily or involuntarily. It impacts you if you're the employee and anybody else that was on that plan, such as your spouse or if you have dependent kids. So how long does it last? People say, what does it matter? And the answer is it's all dependent on your specific situation. So I'm the employee and I get fired. I get a notice from HR and it says you have 18 months that you can stay on our group health plan. Now you'll have to pay the full cost of it while you were employed. If your employer had at least 20 or more employees, they had to pay 50% of your health plan. Some of them paid more. Some of them paid 80%. Some of them paid all of your health costs. When you go on COBRA, you're staying on the exact same plan. They're not changing any of the benefits around. The deductible, nothing's changing. It's the same plan you had, but now you have to pay 100% of the cost to stay on the plan. So COBRA is expensive. Let's say I'm leaving and I get 18 months on COBRA. My wife, my husband, my spouse can also get 18 months. But as soon as I get fired, my husband's like, I am out of here. We're divorcing or we're legally separating. That is an event that would give my husband, my soon-to-be ex-husband, 36 months that he could stay on COBRA. Now, he has to pay for it. If we're divorced, I'm not paying for that. He's got to pay for it. Again, it's going to be expensive. It'll be 100% of the cost of the plan, what it actually costs, plus he has to pay a 2% administrative fee. So if he wants to divorce me, he can still keep his COBRA rights. I don't have to, people keep saying that, do I have to pay for my, no. He has to pay if he wants to stay on my COBRA, 36 months. Now let's say when I leave the company, let's say I'm leaving my company because I'm turning 65. I'm going on Medicare and I'm working with the Medicare family to get my Medicare coverages. What do I do with my younger spouse? My husband in this scenario is younger. He's only 60. Can't go on Medicare. So his choice is he could stay on COBRA or he could go to the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, Healthcare Marketplace, called a whole bunch of different things. He could go over there. Now that's very expensive. I've already established COBRA is also very expensive. So we're going to do a comparison for him to try to figure out which way he would go. It might be COBRA, that he stays with COBRA. If it is COBRA, that there's benefits. Maybe COBRA covers one of his medications that he wouldn't be able to get as economically on Medicare. So we're like, you need to stay on COBRA. Your husband needs to stay on COBRA. How long can he stay on COBRA? Since I went on Medicare, that's a special thing, he can stay on COBRA for 36 months. So what's this whole 36-month COBRA? That's in the event of death. What if I died and my husband now is left without employer group health plan because he got it through my job? He can stay on COBRA 36 months. So if I'm alive, I'm fired, or I quit my job, that's 18 months COBRA. That's 18 months for my spouse and my kids. Now, if I have a disabled spouse or child at the time I leave my job, that is an 11-month extension of the 18 months COBRA. So instead of 18 months, it goes to 29 months. I know, it's craziness. And don't you just love like 29? Like, couldn't we make it just solid 30? Why can't we make it something that's like memorable? Like 18, like what is this? This is a government, I always say. We don't send our best and brightest up there to make our rules. I mean, this is very evident when you're like, this doesn't make sense. Okay, just memorize it, or you don't have to memorize it. You can call us for help. Our consultations for Medicare insurance are free. Go to our website, themedicarefamily.com. There's a little yellow button, book an appointment, talk to us about your specific details. Now, let's go back to the scenario. I am leaving my job because I'm going on Medicare. So my spouse is younger. My spouse will say my spouse is 64. My spouse can go on COBRA until he turns 65. Again, we're gonna need to do a comparison because COBRA is expensive and the Affordable Care Act is expensive. We'll figure out which is the best way for him to go for that 1 year. But as soon as my spouse turns 65, he needs to go to Medicare. If he goes, ooh, no, my COBRA is really good and I don't wanna go to Medicare, we're gonna have to convince him otherwise, because once you're 65, even though your COBRA has not run out, even though your COBRA might be amazing, your plan benefits were just amazing and you want to stay there, you don't want to go to Medicare, Once you're 65, Medicare becomes primary. It's going to pay first. COBRA only pays secondary. And a lot of people every year make this mistake because it's very hard, right? Nobody told you about it. HR doesn't even know it exists. They couldn't warn you. You didn't read my book. You didn't go over to Amazon and get my book and get the lowdown on COBRA. So you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay on COBRA for another couple years until my COBRA runs out. I mean, a couple months until my COBRA runs out, which kind of makes sense, right? No, once you're eligible for Medicare, Medicare becomes primary. If you only had COBRA and it was secondary, then it's only paying what Medicare wouldn't have paid. All this big chunk that Medicare would have paid if you would have had Medicare now is straight out of your pocket, because it's your mistake that you didn't understand the complex and crazy rules of Medicare. That is where we come in. We've helped tens of thousands of people with these decisions. Our help is free. How can it be free? We're paid as independent contractors for dozens and dozens of insurance companies. For Medicare insurance, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, yes, for the Affordable Care Act, for all different types of insurance that retirees would need. So we can explain your situation to you and give you the options and help you make the right decision, but there's no right decision. You're gonna make the decision that you feel is the best for you. If it was easy and black and white, we would tell you, definitely do this. But generally it's all in the gray. And we're going to give you the pros and cons of moving to Medicare, the pros and cons of remaining on your COBRA for a few months, the pros and cons of dropping your COBRA and going to the Affordable Care Act until you go to Medicare. And I forgot to mention one of the most important parts of COBRA is your company has to have 20 or more employees, full-time employees, not employees on your group health plan. So if you're watching this video and you're like, okay, I'm thinking about quitting, or I'm thinking about divorcing my spouse who's thinking about quitting, or all those things that I talked about, this is not going to apply to you if you are working for a small employer. So this COBRA law is to help employees, what the government calls large employers, and that means there's 20 or more full-time employees at the job. And a lot of these businesses are thousands of employees. So everybody's familiar with the term of COBRA, and a lot of small employees don't know until they retire, quit, or get fired that COBRA is not going to be an option for them because their company has less than 20 full-time employees. So that was an important part I forgot to stick in there. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you might really like this video. Check it out. And we'd appreciate if you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a great video. We put out one every week. Check in the description below this video for a link to our cheat sheet on Social Security and Medicare. And you can also give us a comment. If you have a specific question, always feel free to call us or email us at the Medicare Family.